The night of March 3rd, 2021 was cold, the streets of South London quiet, lit by the warm golden glow of street lamps. Sarah Everard, 33 years old, had left her friend's home on Leathwaite Road in Clapham, intending to walk the familiar route back to her apartment in Brixton Hill. Her shoes tapped softly on the pavement, the sound mingling with distant traffic and the occasional dog bark. It was a route she had taken countless times. She never imagined that tonight would end in tragedy. Across the city, Wayne Cousins, 48, an officer of the Metropolitan Police with access to authority and a badge, prepared in silence. Cousins had rented a white Vauxhall car days earlier and had studied the quiet streets where Sarah would walk. He was calm, methodical, a predator cloaked in legitimacy.
Do you know Sarah?
I don't know.
Okay. Sarah went missing. Show some pictures of her on the day. Sarah went missing on Wednesday. Do you know anything about what happened?
I know that she went missing up in London somewhere. About a week ago or so. Just from what I've got on the news.
Okay. Have you ever personally known?
No, not personally. No.
Have you had any interactions with her?
What are our personal interactions with her? Sat in handcuffs and what I know her. So you must have something to say that I know her.
Now, we believe it. You know something about where she is, and that's why we're here to look for her and to try and find her. And that's why we're talking to you now, to try and get you to have a good think about it. Just anything you can about it.
Okay, well, I am in financial, and I've been lent on by, I don't know who they are. They're a group, a gang, whatever, and they told me, well, I need to go and pick up girls and give them to them. So I said, happening, and it then came through that they're going to harm my family, take them away, and they'll use them instead. But at that point I had no option to try and find somebody.
Tell me about them. I need to find them. Tell me everything you know.
Okay,
that you'll have
there was a white Sprinter van. It was between sort of Lemon and Maidstone area that I dropped her off. I still don't know. I don't know. They just I just parked my car up, and then the van come up behind me, flashed me, and they all jumped out. And then they took this girl. Guys got out, opened my door, opened that door, pushed me out against the front of the car, took the girl, drove off. That's it. They said, we'll be in touch. So I'm here. I'm off work with stress because I'm here to protect my family. I want to be here 24/7 for my family. They come from my family. I've got nothing myself. I've got no choice.
He would later justify his actions with a lie, that she had broken COVID-19 lockdown rules. But this was a pretext, a tool to manipulate trust. At around 9:28 p.m, Sarah was captured on doorbell camera footage, walking along Poinders Road, a few blocks from her intended path. Moments later, Cousin's car pulled up. He flashed his police warrant card and handcuffs, asserting that she was in breach of lockdown regulations. His tone was calm, reassuring, yet commanding. Sarah, confronted with the uniformed authority she trusted to protect her, had no reason to question it. She was guided into the car. The drive to Kent began. From the familiar streets of London into the darker stretches of the countryside, Sarah had no way to know where she was being taken. The car's interior smelled faintly of leather and disinfectant. Outside, the world passed in blurred motion. Streetlights, signs, the occasional shadow of a passing vehicle. But inside, fear had taken root. Cousins said nothing, his silence a chilling prelude to what awaited. By the early hours of March 4th, the car had reached a secluded woodland area near Ashford, Kent, Hodeswood, a place Cousins was intimately familiar with. Here, the ordinary landscape of trees and underbrush became the stage for an extraordinary crime. Cousins forced Sarah from the vehicle. There, amid the dense trees and muted light of dawn, he committed acts of sexual violence. Then, with a police-issued belt, he strangled her, extinguishing a life that had only just passed into the unknown of night. Once her body was lifeless, Cousins attempted to erase all evidence. He placed parts of her in a refrigerator, burned what he could, and finally disposed of the remains in a pond within the woodland. The forest, often a refuge for walkers and nature lovers, had become a place of concealment, a tomb hidden from the world. In London, the absence of Sarah quickly triggered alarm. CCTV footage showed her final movements. Doorbell cameras, security systems, and witness accounts painted a chilling picture. Investigators traced her route and, through a combination of phone records and hire car logs, identified Cousins as a person of interest. By March 9th, 2021, 6 days after Sarah had vanished, police arrested Cousins at his home in Deal, Kent. Within hours, digital and physical evidence connected him irrefutably to the crime. The following day, March 10th, human remains were recovered from Hodeswood. Confirmation came swiftly, crushing the hopes of family and friends. The nation recoiled, shocked that a police officer, the very embodiment of protection, had become the source of terror. Court proceedings followed. On June 8th, Cousins pleaded guilty to kidnapping and rape. On July 9th, he admitted to murder. On September 30th, 2021, he received a whole life order, ensuring he would never walk free.
6 hours of yesterday was really calm and peaceful. Very few police officers around, respectful, people laying flowers, not gathering, and a vigil that did not breach the regulations. Unfortunately, later on, we had a really big crowd that gathered, lots of speeches, and quite rightly, as far as I can see, my team felt this is now an unlawful gathering, which poses a considerable risk to people's health, according to the regulations. A really invidious position for my officers to find themselves in, but they then moved to try to explain to people, to engage with people, to get people to disperse from this unlawful gathering, and many, many, many people did. Unfortunately, a small minority did not.
The aftermath of Sarah's death was profound. Vigils were held across the UK, with candles flickering against the cold night, a collective mourning for the life stolen too soon. The story revealed systemic failures. Cousins had a history of inappropriate sexual behaviour, exposing himself to women, harassment incidents that had been inadequately investigated. The Angiolini inquiry, commissioned in November 2021, later concluded that repeated police failures allowed him to remain in positions of power, creating the conditions for tragedy. Sarah Everard's disappearance and murder shattered public trust, prompting conversations about women's safety, the responsibilities of those in uniform, and the vulnerability of citizens to those who misuse power. Her story became both a symbol and a warning. Safety can never be assumed, and vigilance is required even against those we are trained to trust. The streets of South London, once familiar and safe, would forever bear the weight of that night.